Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. So, if you are completely exhausted from fighting a losing battle against hair frizz, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're demystifying the whole science behind frizz, and we're uncovering why the absolute game changer you've probably been missing is something called lightweight hydration. We're going to get right into exactly what happens to your hair on a microscopic level when the weather shifts, and break down both the biological triggers and the science-backed solutions. So get comfortable, bring your focus, and let's get ready to understand your hair like never before.
Does humidity instantly ruin your hair? I mean, we've all been there, right? You spend all this time carefully styling your hair, everything looks absolutely perfect, and then you step outside into that humid air and boom. Instantly you turn into a human dandelion. Within minutes, you're sporting that dreaded frizz halo, puffy, dry, and just completely unmanageable. It feels like magic, but definitely not the fun kind. It's incredibly frustrating. But what if I told you that this reaction isn't just your hair being stubborn? It's actually a literal cry for help for something it's desperately lacking. Frizz is one of the most universal hair complaints out there. Whether your hair is straight, wavy, curly, or chemically treated, it affects us all. But once we understand the actual mechanics behind it, we can absolutely take back control.
Okay, let's dive into this. To really wrap our heads around frizz, we have to zoom way in on the anatomy of a single strand of hair, specifically the hair cuticle. I want you to picture the cuticle kind of like microscopic, overlapping roof shingles on a house. When your hair is super healthy and hydrated, those shingles lie completely flat, creating this nice, smooth, protective barrier. But when your hair is dry or damaged, those shingles lift right up and stay open. And when they lift, they basically invite all the moisture from the surrounding environment, like that dreaded humidity in the air, straight into the hair shaft. This causes the entire strand to swell up, look rough, and feel super fluffy. And that swelling? That is exactly what we call frizz.
So what actually causes those microscopic shingles to lift up in the first place? Well, it basically comes down to four primary biological and environmental triggers. First up is humidity. When the air is moist, your porous hair acts literally like a sponge, just soaking up that water, swelling the shaft, and popping that cuticle open. Second is dryness. Hair that lacks moisture naturally goes looking for hydration from its surroundings. Things like sun exposure, hard water, or just skipping conditioner leave your hair super thirsty and vulnerable. Third, we have heat styling and damage. Regular use of blow dryers, flat irons, or chemical treatments literally weakens that cuticle layer over time, completely wrecking its ability to hold on to moisture. And finally, hair porosity. This just means how well your hair absorbs and retains moisture. High porosity hair absorbs water really fast, but it loses it just as quickly, leaving it incredibly susceptible to frizzing up.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it tackles one of the absolute biggest misconceptions in hair care. The knee-jerk instinct for a lot of us when we see dry, frizzy hair is to immediately slather on a heavy hair oil, right? But here is the reality check. Oils are sealants. They are not hydrators. If your hair is already bone dry, applying an oil simply locks in that dryness. Sure, it might temporarily smooth down the surface, but it completely ignores the actual root cause, which is a lack of water-based hydration. Your hair is practically crying out for a drink of water, and instead we're putting a heavy winter jacket on it. To actually fix frizz long-term, we have to provide hydration first and then seal the cuticle.
And here's another incredibly common myth, especially for the gym goers and frequent travelers we have tuning in. You get a little sweaty at the gym, or you're exposed to some weird climates while traveling, and you think, you know what, I'll just wash my hair again to smooth it all out. But listen to me, overwashing is a massive trap. Washing your hair way too frequently strips away all its natural oils. You are literally washing down the drain the very barrier your hair relies on to protect itself. This leaves your strands significantly drier than before, and as we just established, dry hair equals frizzy hair. So rather than fixing the problem, overwashing actually accelerates the whole thing, creating this awful, vicious cycle of dryness and flyaways.
Which brings us to the ultimate comparison for your daily routine. Heavy styling products versus lightweight hair mists. Thick creams and heavy oils, they can so easily flatten out fine hair, leaving it looking totally greasy, and then notorious for causing unwanted product buildup on your scalp. A lightweight anti-frizz hair mist, on the other hand, is a completely different ballgame. It is specifically designed to provide non-greasy daily hydration. Because it is so lightweight, it gives the hair the literal drink of moisture it desperately needs to smooth down that cuticle, but without weighing the strand down at all. It's basically a targeted delivery system, and it works beautifully across the whole spectrum of hair types, straight, wavy, or curly, making it way more manageable while keeping all your natural bounce and movement intact.
And you know, dermatologists and trichologists universally agree that frizz is really a moisture imbalance, not just some annoying cosmetic thing. Dr. Apoorva hit the nail on the head when she said, Managing frizz isn't about using more products, it's about using the right ones consistently. A lightweight anti-frizz hair mist can help maintain hydration throughout the day. Notice the major emphasis there on consistency and hydration. It's absolutely not about loading your hair up with 10 different thick serums. It's about strategically maintaining a moisture barrier so your hair's cuticle stays flat, resilient, and super healthy day in and day out.
So, the crucial point is this. Hydration is basically your invisible shield. Well-hydrated hair naturally possesses a much smoother cuticle. When those microscopic roof shingles we talked about are lying perfectly flat, your hair simply does not need to absorb any excess moisture from the humid air around you. It's already completely satisfied. But the perks go way beyond just stopping the frizz. That smooth cuticle also means significantly less friction, which dramatically cuts down on breakage, static electricity, and split ends. By pivoting to lightweight hydration instead of just relying on heavy styling gunk, you aren't just making your hair look better for a few hours, you are fundamentally upgrading its elasticity, its manageability, and its overall structural health.
And this brilliantly illustrates how you can step up and become a much smarter consumer. It's not just about grabbing the first bottle you see labeled anti-frizz. You really need to hunt for hydration heroes. We're talking ingredients like aloe vera, panthenol, and argan oil. These are the good guys feeding your hair. At the exact same time, you absolutely must dodge the red flags, drying alcohols, harsh sulfates, heavy silicones, and crazy amounts of synthetic fragrances. Why? Because those harsh chemicals completely strip the hair and leave behind sticky buildup, which entirely defeats the whole purpose of hydrating in the first place. Getting in the habit of reading the ingredient list is truly your first line of defense in building a bulletproof hair care routine.
Let's actually break down what those hero ingredients are doing for your hair on a molecular level, because it's super cool. Aloe vera is fantastic because it delivers really deep, lightweight hydration and actively soothes dry strands, all without leaving any gross residue behind. Then we have Panthenol, which you might know as provitamin B5. This guy is a humectant, meaning it literally grabs moisture and helps the hair hold onto it, strengthening the strand from the inside out. Argan oil steps in specifically to smooth down that lifted cuticle we talked about, giving you that incredible natural shine. And finally, Biotin, which you can find naturally in product lines from awesome brands like Timb, helps fortify the actual structural integrity of the hair. Working together, these ingredients actively nourish those dehydrated strands rather than just slapping a Band-Aid over the problem.
Okay, so now that we know the science and we've got our ingredients lined up, how do we actually do this day to day? Here is your highly actionable routine. Step 1. Always use a gentle wash and a moisturizing conditioner that's actually tailored to your specific hair type. Now, Step 2 is an absolutely crucial pro tip you do not want to skip. Apply your hydrating mist on damp hair. Spraying it right after towel drying is your golden window of opportunity to lock in that moisture before the outside air even gets a chance to touch it. Step 3. If your hair is really thick or chemically damaged, you can totally layer a lightweight serum right over the mist for some extra nourishment. And finally, Step 4. Always apply a heat protectant before you go near it with any styling tools. This routine pretty much guarantees your hydration is sealed in right at the foundation.
Let's move on and see how this builds, because products are really only half the battle. Your daily habits are the rest of the equation. Let's look at a few totally doable pro-lifestyle tweaks. First, sleeping on a satin or silk pillowcase seriously reduces friction while you toss and turn at night, which prevents that awful morning frizz. Next, swapping out your rough cotton bath towel for a microfiber one stops you from tearing up the cuticle when you're drying off. Also, carrying a travel-sized mist with you is a total game changer. It lets you refresh and rehydrate dry strands on the fly, whether you're sitting in a dry office or stepping off a long flight. And lastly, just getting a trim every 6 to 8 weeks knocks out split ends before they can travel up the hair shaft. These are small, consistent changes, but they yield massive long-term results. Well, we've covered the biological causes, we've busted some of the most stubborn myths, and we've laid out the true scientific solutions for lightweight hydration, which leaves us with one final, kind of provocative question. Is your current hair routine actually causing your frizz? Think about it. Are you overwashing? Are you relying on heavy jackets of oil instead of giving your hair a true refreshing drink of moisture? Are you using harsh sulfates that just strip your hair's natural barrier away? I highly encourage you to go take a quick look at the bottles sitting in your bathroom right now. Evaluate your own daily habits against the actual science we explored today. Remember, keeping frizz at bay is all about consistency and finally giving your hair the lightweight hydration it's been begging for. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.